Like and subscribe and click the bell icon to get new video updates.
Barnaby Joyce says Solomon Islands should be careful of China. Labour hints at more foreign aid spending. Deputy Prime Minister Barnaby Joyce has warned Solomon Islands it has put its sovereignty at risk by signing a security agreement with China. Mr Joyce said he had taken the Solomon Islands' word that it would not allow China to establish a naval base on the island, but that, if it did, it would be obviously an intimidating tactic for Australia. China wants to. There is no doubt about that, because we see what they did in the South China Sea where they said they weren't going to militarise, he said. Obviously for the Solomons, I take their word, but I say be really careful to invite a totalitarian power into your country, because it is going to affect your sovereignty. The contest for power and influence between two giants is still only warming up, and none of Australia's South Pacific neighbours can avoid being swept up in it, writes Bill Birtles. Read more. Mr Joyce again defended the Prime Minister and the government's attempts to engage with Solomon Islands leadership before the deal was signed. However, he would not say how Australia would respond if China did begin to build a military base, because the country had said it would not happen. When asked what a re-elected Liberal and Nationals coalition would do to stop China from encroaching further into the Pacific, the Deputy Prime Minister pointed to projects, such as the nuclear submarine deal, AUKUS, the Quad alliance between Australia, India, Japan and the US, as examples of things the government was doing to prevent that. The government has faced sustained criticism from the opposition about the deal, with Labour arguing that the coalition should have done more to prevent it, including sending Foreign Minister Marise Payne to Solomon Islands when concerns about the pact first arose last year. Analysis from our experts. Shadow Treasurer Jim Chalmers said the deal was a failure by the government that has made Australia and the region less safe as a result. The fact that they have failed so substantially here is a direct risk to our national security, he said. Mr Chalmers said, if elected, Labour would seek to rebuild the relationship with Solomon Islands and hinted at potentially increasing the foreign aid spend in the Pacific. Space to play or pause, M to mute, left and right arrows to seek, up and down arrows for volume. The Shadow Treasurer flagged yesterday that he believed cuts to foreign aid by the government were partly to blame for the controversial deal going ahead, by being a credible partner on climate change, having a credible climate change policy. It means investing in development assistance in foreign aid, and we'll have more to say about that during the course of the election, Mr Chalmers said. That is an important part of the story, but it is not the whole story. How we manage our foreign aid responsibilities, all of these things. Shadow Foreign Affairs Minister Penny Wong also told Sky News if Labour have been in government there were a number of things it would have done differently to prevent the pact. We WOULDNT have cut development assistance, she said. On average, the annual bilateral aid to, for example, Solomon Islands has reduced by 28% between us and them when we were in government and their government. We WOULDNT have mocked them on climate change in the way Peter Dutton has. Speaking on Sky News just before Senator Wong, Defence Minister Peter Dutton also defended the government, saying the Prime Minister had put the issue of China's involvement in the Pacific on the radar for a number of years now. We don't want any military presence from the Chinese only 1,800 to 2,000 kilometres off our coastline, he said. The reality is that China has changed. China is incredibly aggressive. The acts of foreign interference, the preparedness to pay bribes to get outcomes and to beat other countries to deals, that is the reality of modern China. Ask us a question or share your story. All fields are required unless marked optional. Posted 2 hours ago, updated 1 hour ago.